Well, it's that time of night again, Friday night. We are live. We're here to talk about some comics, talk about some variants. And I did not come alone tonight, folks. I have one of my best friends on YouTube with me. I'd like to introduce you guys to the legend himself. He's one of my inspirations, I would say, for me doing videos. He's helped me out from the very beginning. Everybody say hi to the legend. Legend, say hello to the Bueller audience.
Man, it is good to be here. I'm coming at you live from Comics with Bueller. And Bueller, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. I was telling you before the show, it's been a long time since I've been able to perform in front of a crowd of 100, man. So let's get this party started.
Very cool. So we got some great topics tonight. We're going to go over some books that came out this week that I really enjoyed. I think Legend read some as well. And then we're going to go and jump right into the topic of tonight, which is variants. And that's going to eat up probably, honestly, the most of the time. Would you agree?
I think so. A lot of people out there in the chat, they have probably a lot of thoughts on their how they do variants or what they think about them. I know we have our thoughts, so I'm excited, man.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and for those people in there that aren't aware of the great Legend, he is a YouTuber that's been around a long time. He does many different things on his channel. Legend, kind of give him a rundown on what you do.
For Great Legend Show, it's youtube.com/rdowdy95. I do all kinds of stuff. I got started in YouTube in 2009, summer 2009, really big on the Xbox gaming scene. And, you know, surprisingly enough, I had a really successful cooking show called The Great Chef Show, where I had fun cooking different meals and telling funny stories while I was preparing the meals. And then I decided after watching Captain Strangelove, a guy I see in your comments quite a bit. I was watching him back in 2011 show his comic collection. I was like, well, golly, you know, I've got comics to show. I can show some comics as well. And then by watching him and some other people in the YouTube comic book community back in 2011, I got back. I mean, the comics bit me again. So I got the bug and I started getting comics and getting back into the hobby and been here ever since. So it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And I want to let you guys know about Legend. He is a chat expert. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted him on here, because he knows how to handle a chat like no other. And, you know, he's really good at it, because we got a lot of people on the chat. We got 75 people watching already, and we just started 3 minutes ago. So that's pretty good. But like I said, Legend knows how to watch the chat. I'm looking at it right now. I see Robert Galvin's in there, of course. We got John's Comments with Kids is one of my moderators. Thank you, John. Also, Sam's Tangled Web. He's in there, also a moderator. Thank you. Stay Puff. I mean, the list goes on. You want to read a couple?
Yeah, give these good folks some shout outs. We got Thanatos Comics, man, who had a great show last night. I don't know what was going on, but he was had the women's makeup on, so y'all check that out. Mad Dad 320 is a great guy. He's a new subscriber of mine. JLS Comics is a mainstay on Thursday nights with JLS Comic Conversation. Comic G, man, the sick and psychotic one, Paul Flournoy, Bobby Beltran. Golly, everyone's here tonight watching Comics with Bueller, man. And I tell you, and you know, I've only had about, you know, I get around the 70 range when I do an auction. So normally I just have to read numbers, but you got full-fledged like comments and sentences. So I tell you, it gets pretty tough. But you know, sometimes, you know, if you really want to read, you know, get your comments read, you got to go super chat, baby. No,
you just throwing it right out there, aren't you, Legend?
We don't have the tin cups out. We love each and every one of you for being here. That's what it's all about, you know.
Legend does it like no other. I want to kind of get a little bit into before we get to some books. I'm going to take a few minutes to cover a few things. So last week I did my live show with Comic Tom 101. We had a great time. There was a couple giveaways in there, and I have the winners. I have the winners from the comments on his video, because he reposted it on his channel, and I have the winner for that. And then I also have the winner for my channel, and we're going to announce those a little bit later in the show. Another thing I want to go over real quick, and just so you guys know, the great Legend, this gentleman on here with me, is kind of found me when I first started doing YouTube videos, and he has helped me along all the way. And I owe a lot of my knowledge as far as how the workings of YouTube is to this gentleman. So I'm honored to have him on the show. His link is down below. So if you guys want to go check him out, you should. He's a great guy. He's got a great voice. We do a lot of stuff together. We do reviews on wrestling pay-per-views. We skipped the last one because it wasn't, we don't want to talk about it. And then we're also partners on the Comic Core, which we do on Friday nights at 7 o'clock, usually right after this show for the most part. But I just wanted to let people know who the legend is and what he's done for me. And I just kind of want to return the favor and introduce the legend to the Bueller audience, I guess you'd say. I don't know.
It's Bueller Nation, baby. That's what it's all about. And let me just say, man, just getting to know you has been a freaking blast. You know, when I first got to know you, and then what was really cool is we got to know each other more being on Comic Core, which is the show after this one. So make sure y'all check out Comic Core. And real quick, Bueller, economics in comics. $2 super chat, man. That's what it's all about right there. We love.
You know, he's got a live show he's doing tonight too at 7 o'clock. So, you know, flip between us, you know, check out the Comic Core, check out Economics and Comics. And I actually got a chance to chat with him in person, or not in person, but over the phone. And he's a great guy. And I really enjoyed interacting with him. He's got some really good knowledge. So I don't know if you've checked out Economics and Comics, but legend, you should definitely check him out. And anyone in the chat, go check him out as well, because he knows his stuff and it really comes across apparently. So it's awesome.
You know what I did? I just, while you were plugging Economics and Comics, I made sure to go. I'm his 794th subscriber. So yeah, thank you so much. And then what I'm going to do after the show, because, you know, like Bueller said, the chat's going to be going crazy. You know, it's going to be flowing like Niagara Falls. So I'll be sure to go back on the rewind and make sure I get a lot of you folks subbed up in the chat, because I really appreciate y'all. And any friend of Bueller's is a friend of mine.
Aw. That's awfully nice. What about my ex-wife? She's my friend.
I don't know about her.
No, come on. She's great. And you know what I heard? Here's the thing, and this is kind of funny and off subject, but I guess last week she was watching.
I love it. Well, you got a great show, and she probably's like, I wonder what that old guy, what's he been up to lately?
So if she watches tonight, I just want to say hello to Bueller's ex-wife. Hope things are going well, you know.
Yep. Bueller's ex-wife, me too. Disregard, you know, all of that other stuff. That was just a fan behind the beanie. You know, I'm, you know, 100% fan. You know, good times. Yeah. You gave Bueller 2 beautiful, lovely kiddos, and you know, and we got Jeff too. So what can we say?
That's right. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some of our picks of the week really quick, and we're not going to spend too much time on this because, you know, we got a good subject to cover and people are going to want to talk about that. And I want to get as involved in the chat with that as I can. But I'll just go ahead and go through mine for the week.
Okay, cool.
And I usually do one from Marvel, one from DC, and one from Independent or whatnot. But the first one I read this week was the Death of the Inhumans. And this is number 5. This is the final issue of this series. It was kind of anticlimactic, to be honest with you. Did I pronounce that word right? I might have not.
You did an awesome job.
The cover is really cool. I thought the story was, like I said, it didn't kind of live up to it, what I expected. But it's over, and it's Donny Cates. And since it's over, he started a new title, which came out the same day, The Marvel Knights. Now, this one I really enjoyed. It's got a great cast of characters so far, and there's a one of the characters has a list of other characters that are more than likely going to appear in this book later on. I think this is a 5 or 6 issue miniseries, but I enjoyed this. I also enjoyed the artwork on this one as well. So if you haven't picked up Marvel Knights, this is number 1. This is by Donny Cates. He's kind of the it guy right now for Marvel and there's other stuff. So I enjoyed this one. Pick it up. You won't regret it. I have my DC pick. And of course, I'm gonna go with Green Lantern number 1. Okay, and I don't know. I don't. Here's the thing. I've never read Green Lantern before. I can't remember. Maybe Emerald Dawn. I think I read that one. But as far as this one goes, I was confused. I liked the artwork. I thought it was great. I think you read this one, right?
I did. Yep.
Okay, then good. You'll be able to tell them a little bit more about it than I can. But I enjoyed it. I like the the writer. He's a great writer. He's an interesting guy. So I enjoyed it for that, and I'll stick with it. I think for Green Lantern, so that'll be fun. And then the other book I got, which I really enjoyed, was Spawn number 291, and not many people are reading Spawn these days, and it's good. I thought this one was great. Spawn is putting together a team of villains to go and take the war to them type thing. He's not
awesome.
waiting for them to come to him. He's going to go to them, and he's not taking any prisoners. So if you're not reading Spawn, it's a great looking cover, and I really enjoyed that one. And then I got just some regular covers, a few Matina ones. This is the B cover, a variant, which we'll get into.
Cool.
And then we got the Justice League number 11 variant. We'll get into that one as well. But some great looking covers. And we got almost 100 people watching right now, 98. So thank you everybody so much. And also we got a super chat from Robert Galvin himself.
He is the man. I love some of Robert Galvin. It is Galvin mania in the chat. I love it.
It is. He's a good guy. And you got a chance to talk with him last week, didn't you?
Yeah, and I told him if he's still around after Comic-Core, I'd love to get him in that Comic-Core chat and chat it up with him a little bit more tonight.
That's right. He's a good guy. Okay, Legend, what do you got this week?
The books I read, I only spend about $20 to $30 a month, so I didn't read too many. But Marvel, I didn't read, but I did read Marvel 2-in-1 issue 12 last week. I'm a huge Fantastic Four and Marvel 2-in-1 fan. That was a great read. But for this week, the Green Lantern by Grant Morrison, art by Liam Sharp. It was just what it said it was going to be through the previews. Morrison starting out with a buddy, or not a buddy cop, but a cop kind of storyline. So I pictured a lot of like, this could be the start of an kind of a bad 80s cop show. That's kind of the vibe I got. And nothing wrong with that. They Live, was kind of not really a cop show, but kind of had some like vibe like They Live, where that one guy is going to be trying to find out a big mystery from these crime lords. And I thought it was pretty good on the start. A lot of times with Grant Morrison, it seems like I've got to read the whole arc to understand what he was going for. So, being a Green Lantern fan and a Grant Morrison fan, I'll probably pick up most of it to see where the arc goes from here. But I thought it was I wouldn't say a solid opening. I think Morrison's just getting his feet wet like he normally does. He puts his toes in the water first, and then later about issue 6, maybe his leg and the waist will get into the water. So excited for that one. So I enjoyed it. And then for the independent, I had to go with Farmhand.
I want to know about this one. I don't know if anyone in the chat is reading Farmhand, but I've heard great things about this book. You've talked about it before. Kind of getting a little bit more detail for people because it's by Image, correct?
It's an Image book.
Yeah.
The artist and the writer is a guy by the name of Rob Guillory. That name may be familiar to y'all if y'all have read the book Chew by John Layman, where Rob Guillory did the artwork. And what I love about it, I love the Guillory artwork, but I was just kind of taking, a gamble on it. Sometimes when, you got an awesome writer, or an awesome artist, but can he write as well as he can do the art? And the answer is a freaking yes. I tell you, amazing story. My grandfather was a farmer, so that kind of also led me into the story. And the great thing about this story is it kind of got a little bit of a Morrison, as far as like he has a lot of flashbacks during the issue, but it's not as intense as Morrison. So you'll get a flashback, but you'll find out why in the same issue. You don't have to wait like 12 issues, but it's a story of a farmer named Jedediah something or rather, anyway, some fun farm name. And his daughter works with him, and his son has moved back home. He's a comic book, I can't remember if he was a writer, artist, but he's a comic guy. He moves back home to help out old dad. And he finds the dad's business is booming. And what Jedediah has is he's got a farm where he grows organically like body parts and organs. And what I think is so great about Jedediah, he lost his thumb. It hasn't gone into this story yet, but he lost his thumb. And so, of course, with this scientific research and this farm he has to grow parts, he's got a green thumb. And I just love the little thing. Like, it's classic.
Is this a limited series? Do you know?
It's not limited, but
Okay.
Guillory is going to do 5 issues at a time, kind of like how Chew did, usually about 5 issues at a time for each story arc.
Okay.
But so it's 5 issues at a time, and the next ones will be coming out in March. But the issue 5, it started out like this: the day after the election. See, their town had an election, and then the book comes out Wednesday, and of course that's after we had the midterm elections here in the States.
Yep.
So it's just a great story and everyone has their own backstory, and I hope it just keeps getting better and better. And I'm going to continue to get it. It was a lot of fun. Farmhand.
So this was issue 5. So there's nothing else till March.
Nothing else till March.
Okay.
They'll probably drop a trade. Sometimes they like to do that, and Image will go back and look at the sales figures. And I think in the letters section at the end, he said, the next story arc is going to be in March. So it was a successful book. Many times the Image number ones, brand new Image titles, they get bought pretty heavily. So hopefully it just has continued success.
I have the first 3 issues. I think I'm missing 4 and 5. I need to pick those up. But hey, we got at over 100 people watching right now. I think I saw a top at 112. So that's pretty cool, man. The legend bringing the heat tonight. So it's kind of cool. But I want to ask you, I want to go back to the Green Lantern real quick, and because I know you're a big fan, and that's one of the reasons I want to talk to you about this. Like I said, I haven't really read much of Green Lantern. Is it difficult for someone who hasn't read to jump in? I mean, you've read them, so you're up to date. Would you think it would be difficult if you haven't read some previous stuff?
It's not difficult at all as long as you start at the beginning of a story arc. So this first Grant Morrison issue, I kind of laugh because Grant Morrison is a turnoff for new readers. I mean, if you don't know Morrison, you really got to stick with him. So I think that could hurt DC in the long run. Mm-hmm. But if you do want to read some Green Lantern, and I know Thanatos out there, he can agree that you ought to read the Jeff Johns run. I think it was either 2006 or 2005 when Jeff Johns took over, because when Jeff Johns wrote the Green Lantern story mythos, he created the color light spectrum. Mm-hmm. So we know Sinestro had the yellow ring of fear, but you've got the Red Lanterns with Atrocitus and the Rage, and you got Larfleeze Orange Lantern and Saint Walker, the Lantern of Hope. And so just so much. It's kind of like, how Marvel has the Silver Surfer, Galactus, Thanos, Guardians of the Galaxy. Just picture like all of that stuff, but like Green Lantern, all the space stuff that the Green Lantern has to offer. And it's a lot of fun, really cool.
Nothing like the movie that we all enjoyed.
Oh, that movie.
Let's not talk about that. That was horrible.
That. It's rough.
So, would you say the Green Lantern's your pick of the week or Farmhand if you had to go with one?
Oh, one, I would go Farmhand.
Okay. Okay.
No strife to old Morrison or anything, but good night. That Farmhand, that thing has just been stellar. Yeah.
I liked my pick. I'd probably go with the Marvel Knights, just a little ahead of the Spawn. 291, but honestly, they're almost tied. But Marvel Knights, I thought was good, and I'm looking forward to the rest of that series. And Spawn, as we all know, is ongoing, and they're at 291, so they're obviously getting close to number 300. And I wonder what the cover is going to look like for that one.
Well, we kind of have. I think you're kind of thinking what I'm thinking, but I think they already did an homage to ASM 300. So
I think he's going to do it again.
Yeah. Look at the big dog. Let me tell you, Roman Curtis. He says 2 champions here working together, Legend and Bueller. Amen. Oh, you got to love old Roman.
I do like Roman.
Well, Roman Reigns, I got a little sympathy, but I love Curtis out there.
Hey, we're going to jump into the subject, but before we do, it's really cold where I'm at right now. Okay. So usually I have my vest on, as you guys all know, but today I'm wearing a little jacket, but behind me is the vest. So it's making an appearance. It's right there and all sorts of good stuff. Now, I was thinking about doing something with my vest for everybody that like does a super chat or whatnot, and I don't know if you can write on like with the silver permanent marker, but I want to write everybody's name on my vest that does a super chat. I just want to think it'd be kind of cool. You know, what do you think that's a good idea, or is it cheesy? It might be cheesy.
Oh, I love it. That's so freaking cool. You know, you could get probably one of those paint pins, a paint pin.
Okay, yeah,
really good on there. But yeah, I think chat. Let us know during the show if what y'all think about it. I think that's a stellar idea, man. That's awesome.
I mean, I could try to write all 3,000 subscribers, but I need a bigger vest. I mean, I'm a big guy. It's a big vest. It's a 3XXX, but I don't think I can get all 3,000 on there. But
that'd be a lot of people.
Yeah. So I think that'd be kind of cool, to do something, like that, something, I don't know. If it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. But somebody just jumped in here to the chat and
my goodness. Oh, let me do because Captain Strangelove Comics and Collectibles, back in 2011, I watched this man show his Amazing Spider-Man collection all the way. I think he worked backwards because that was cool. 300 down to number 1. And then I think he had a couple, maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 Amazing Fantasy 15s. And I just was like glued to the set. Not because so much I was glued to the comics. Of course, the comics brought me in. Yeah. But then the more videos of this man I watched and his world of stuff down in that basement, I just fell in love with the guy because he wasn't, some crazy celebrity or anything. Now he was a celebrity to me. Yeah. I wasn't stalking or anything, but I just, I love the guy so much. I mean, he's so cool. And then Hans, man, I tell you what, I haven't talked to him on Facebook Messenger in a while, but I think I'm heading to that C2E2.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to do. If I get to Chicago, I got to see some Captain Strangelove in the flesh.
So the reason I wanted to point him out, Captain Strangelove, he's been around forever. He's one of the pioneers, and you know what? I look and I enjoy watching his content. And I've actually he emailed me earlier in the week, and we talked a little bit. And just a great man in general. And there's a lot of new people that are watching Comics with Bueller. And you know what? There's a lot of great channels out there that people should pay attention to. And Captain Strangelove, he's been doing it for a long time, and much respect to him, man. You as well, but he was before you.
So. He was before me. Let me tell you a little something else about this guy. What's so cool is, Captain Strangelove, he showed me, oh my goodness, here we go. I got him. I'm so lucky I have these here. He showed me what he bagged his comic books in, people. And this was back in like 2000, probably even earlier. I just maybe caught the video late, but around 2011, he showed me these things right here. The E. Gerber My Lights too. And I fell in love with those things, and I've been, using them ever since. But, some things about YouTube and the comic book community and doing videos and getting inspired by others to do videos. I was already doing videos, video games and cooking, but I saw him show his comic book collection, and that inspired me to show my comic book collection.
Yep.
And then, some people say, I don't think I inspire many, but maybe so. Some people will watch my videos and get inspired by watching me. And then like those people will get inspired by watching them. And what's really cool, I've seen this come full circle, Bueller, because when I watch you inspire me to work harder and to do, actually, for me personally, just to get my butt on camera more. You inspired me to do that. And what was really neat, I haven't commented on it because usually I watch in bed and I fall asleep watching videos, but I watched Captain Strangelove do a video where he was showing some books, some lesser known books that you might be able to get on the cheap. And I think it was Long Shot. And he mentioned you in the video, saying that he watched your videos and, he really spoke real highly of you, and you inspired him because for a while, Hans, I hadn't seen you do much videos. Then I would see you do a lot more videos. And I'm like, yes, because it brought me back to like an inner childhood of YouTube. Like whenever Captain Strangelove put a video on, I was like, yes, I got a Captain Strangelove video to watch. And, I'd watch it. But I think it's so cool that how it's kind of gone full circle to where Bueller, you yourself can inspire, Captain Strangelove. You can inspire myself, guys that we think, well, we've already showed most of all of our holy grails. We've showed all of our collections, and what else can we bring to the table? So when we watch you, the new guy, then we get inspired by you and we start bringing new stuff, and it gets our creative juices flowing again. It's a lot of fun. So Bueller, God bless you for that, man.
I'm all about getting those juices flowing. I don't know. We got a super chat by Bobby Beltran. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. She's awesome. But I wanted to say this, and I get asked this quite a bit. And Thanatos is in here, and Captain Strangeliffe and stuff. And
Common Core Chad is here tonight.
That's yeah, he's in there. But one thing I get asked, and people are very kind, and they'll email me or message me, and they'll say, "Hey, Bueller, I know you do this. Do you mind if I do something similar?" And I want to tell you guys, go for it. Mm-hmm. Do whatever you like. And the more that we can do for our community and for other people to see it, the better off we are. So I'm just telling everyone flat out, do it. I think it's great. The more stuff's out there, the better we are. So go for it and have fun doing it. And I look forward to seeing it. So I think it's awesome.
And everyone always has a different way of doing stuff. And everyone's always going to interpret things differently. So you're always going to get something new. So I think that's the greatest thing ever.
Absolutely. And look at that. We got Robert Galvin, another super chat.
Galvin.
I'm going to have to get his name embroidered on my vest or something, maybe. Okay. Robert, or Legend, let's go ahead and jump into the topic.
The variants.
The variant. What do you think? This is going to be a fun topic. So let me tell you why I'm bringing this up, okay? Mm-hmm. So my weekly sneak peek video that came out, okay, which comes out on Thursday mornings, I put that together, and I was up till 6 o'clock in the morning putting that video together. And why was I up till 6 o'clock in the morning? Because there was variant after variant after variant, and it never stopped. I had over almost 190 books. And at one time, I had 230 books on that list, and I had to cut them down. I was like, there's too many. I can't do it. The video is going to be forever. But it was all variant comics for multiple titles. There's one company that's guilty more so than the rest. We'll get into that. but I sat there and I looked at one after another, and my stomach dropped. I was like, what is this? Where do I begin? And so that's why I wanted to do the topic. And I asked people, I said, hey, and towards the end of the video, I said, hey, if you guys are still with me, put #variant in the comments. And there was like 100 of them in the comments down below for the video. And it kept going. And then I put out the video today talking about the podcast for tonight. And 500 people have watched that. And they're all like, yeah, variants are the worst. So anyway, we'll break it down in different sections. So let's start from let's kind of go old school. And what can you remember being possibly your first variant that you saw on the market?
The first variant was, it's so hard because I really didn't know what variants were when I collected in the 90s. I got back into collecting in around 91 with some Amazing Spider-Man books around the time Carnage was out. Then 92 for some Image with Spawn, Youngblood, Savage Dragon, all those. So I didn't really remember variants at that time. But when I came back to collecting in 2011, I started seeing some variants. And I didn't really have any opinion about them because there still wasn't that many variants. Maybe a title would have a second cover or something like that periodically, but it seems like every year since around 2011 there's just been more variants coming out. And I know in the comic book community, just talking to other people, there are a lot of fans of the some of the variants. Like if it has some of their favorite cover artists, like an Art Germ or Francisco Matina or some of the other names out there. So there are a lot of fans of variants. And then, you got the variants that are just cover Bs, you got ratios. So yeah, I honestly don't even remember. It just seems like it's just overwhelming to even try to remember them.
So I would think I got Reggie Simmons. This is a different Reggie Simmons that we might be familiar with. Reggie Simmons getting a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Reggie. I appreciate that. Reggie's a cool guy as well. Pretty much everybody in here is a cool guy or a cool lady. I like saying ladies.
You gotta love the ladies, but when I'm playing WWE, it's men only.
Yeah, whatever. we got like 120 people watching right now, so this is awesome. But if I'm not mistaken, okay, and people in the chat can kind of let me know about this, but as far as the variant comics, the ones that pop in my mind as far as the first ones are the Batman the Dark Knight. When that series came out, they had the 4 different colors. They had they had the blue and the yellow and the green. And then not too far after that was the X-Men that came out in 91. And they had the 4 covers that all kind of connected together. Plus then they had another 5th cover as well. I think, I might be wrong, but I mean, as far as the time period when variants became a thing, I think that's probably where we have to start, where as far as from DC and Marvel doing something like that. Now there were some other books that had like alternative covers, but like one cover. But this is the one I can think of that has multiple different variants. Would you agree?
I think so, yeah. And by you saying that, I've got some Fantastic Four books that have different variants where one was all white, but it was kind of embossed raised, and then one was all red. So yeah, that sounds about the right time frame.
Sam in here said X-Men, and Sam's like an encyclopedia, so if he says X-Men, then that's probably what it was.
Captain Strangelove has one. First variant was Superman Man of Steel #1 by John Byrne, which I just saw C. Woodard 19 on Tuesday night showed the one where he's opening up his shirt and it has the logo, but then there's another one that has a full body. So yeah, golly, there he is. Captain Strangelove teaches me something new even to this day.
At least these people know their stuff, man. I'm gonna look dumb next to these people. But so that's kind of where it started. Okay. And then so we're gonna fast forward because that's around the time I stopped collecting. And then I jumped back into collecting at the end of last year. And there was this thing that was just variants. Okay. And it was a common thing. Okay. When I stepped back in. And not only was it a common thing, but it's been a common thing for a while now. And the first book I bought was the Justice League of America. And it had the American flag on it. Okay. And the guy at the comic shop says, well, there's variants of this. I go, how many? He goes, well, there's one for every state. So, I mean, that's over 50 variants for that one book. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. And it's just a different flag. So it's not like a different artist or something like that. So that gets a little bit crazy. Now we jump to where we're at now. Okay. And we have Uncanny X-Men, one of my favorite titles of all time. I read Chris Claremont's run of that, almost every one of them, to be honest with you, because the guy spent, half of his life writing Uncanny X-Men. And now the new one comes out on Wednesday, and I look it up and I find almost 30 covers. And that wasn't it. There was more. This image was not available when I put those videos together. Almost 30 covers and a price of $7.99 cover price for every book.
Oh my goodness.
Where do you start? Like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah. It's like, well, for me, and like you brought that point where JLA had the American flag and all the flags and everything. And that was the first in the modern era of collecting for me. That was insane. And like from that point on, it seems like every new #1 that comes out, and it doesn't matter if it's Marvel, DC's really been tame on it, but even the independent companies, they are just cranking the variants out. And for me, like what I've learned, I'm a big Fantastic Four fan, and I'm also, kind of addicted to like collecting everything I can on Fantastic Four and like all the covers. So yeah, it really hits me in the wallet. But one thing that folks can do, folks that are watching in the chat, make sure you get the cover that speaks to you, the cover that you like. I always used to have an old saying, and I said it sounded like Walt Whitman. When you go into the LCS, when the variant catches your eye, your eye catches the variant. And what that means is when you see that variant on the shelf, it's like it's calling out to you, and you make that visual connection. So, you know, that's the one you need to get, and then you grab it and take it home with you. But yeah, you know, you can lose a lot of your comic book money buying variants.
Well, not only that, I mean, it's just, so I want to like give Marvel their own due. So let's kind of step away from Marvel real quick. And you kind of brought this up, but a lot of the independent publishers are doing this too now. I'll give you an example, like Dynamite. Dynamite does this all the time. As far as Dynamite goes, they're not like Ratio. They're not like 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 100. They might do a little bit of that, but not like Marvel. For the most part, Dynamite will put out like 12 covers of a new book. And like I think the James Bond Origin book that they put out had like 15 covers for it type thing. And then they did one for Mars Attacks, and that had a bunch. And pretty much every title that I see out there that they do as far as number ones, they're dumping tons of books. I tell you right now, comic shops are not ordering 15 different covers of James Bond Origin by any means, you know, so why would they even bother doing that, you know?
It just baffles me every time. I was looking in there and I saw this comic, and I know my buddy Gretzky would like it, but it was Batman 66 and Archie, and there was like, I don't know, like all the way up to cover J or something. And it was just, you had Archie wearing Robin's costume and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It is just total insane. And it is crazy like that. For something like this, I have this variant of Marvel 2-in-1. This is a John Byrne variant. It's kind of like a cover homage, loosely based off of the 1983 The Thing #1 by John Byrne. But this is a 1 in 1,000 variant. So a lot of times, of course, I can't get this at a shop. I went to eBay, and a lot of times, since it's 1 in 1,000, people were charging $1,000. So I was like, well, there's just no way. So I waited several months until like it was around.
You're throwing fire on the thing, man. You're putting gas in the tank for this variant. You know that, right?
Yeah. So I waited till it dropped about $800 and got it at 200. But still, it's no creases, no spandex. So I'm gonna press seal and get a 9.8, hopefully. But
nice.
But you know, it's one of my addictions. You know, anything with this big blue-eyed guy on here, ever loving blue-eyed thing, I gotta have. But you're right, though. I mean, so I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. If it's Fantastic Four or Shazam,
that's your weakness.
I'm gonna get the variant. You know.
So we got a super chat in here from Cool Comics Collector. It says 1 or 2 variants for special issues. That's it. The LCS loses money on all those they don't sell. That's exactly right. That statement is right on the money. And that's another topic I want to get into about the effect that it has on your LCS. But, you know, I was talking about Dynamite and all they're doing. Another person is Valiant. They do a lot of variant covers. You know, they got that Bloodshot coming out next week. I think that one has like 12 different covers as well. So it's not just one company that's doing it. You know, there is one, you know, Marvel is the one who's doing the majority of it. They own, I think, 38 or 39% of the market. Which is the most. And then DC is right below them. DC, I think, is at 33% of the market. DC does variants, but I think they've found a good balance. Their balance that they're doing is an A cover and a B cover. Every now and then they drop in a few other ones for a new title, like, say, Green Lantern, for instance. That's a big launch, so I would anticipate there to be a handful. But it wasn't like 30 different variants, you know, for Green Lantern. There was like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I think DC has a good amount. Yeah, I think DC has a good balance, and I think everyone would probably agree with me because I don't hate the variant. I hate when there's just an elaborate selection of variants and you don't know where to start. You know, for a new customer coming in there, you know, I want to get into comics, and they go and there's, you know, 30 different #1 versions of Uncanny X-Men, or there's 10 different versions of Action Comics #1000, you know. They're like, what's this? Oh, it's the same book. Yeah, it's exactly the same book, you know. And I for a while I didn't know. I thought it was a different book. I look at it like, oh, I have to check it, you know, to make sure it's the same book or a different book. But I'd say that DC has found a good balance. I like the A and the B covers. It gives you an opportunity to see some fantastic art because their B covers are just killing it. Let's face it, their Matina covers that they're doing are just off the charts. They're not incentive variants, which I like. They're 1-for-1. It doesn't make the LCS have to buy a certain amount of copies to get the other copy. It's 1-for-1. They can order both. They can order one or the other. It doesn't matter. So I enjoy that. What's your thought on DC and their variant system? Is that something that should be adopted by the rest of the industry?
I really wish the rest of the industry would totally do what DC's doing, and DC's been doing it for quite a long time with the cover A and cover Bs. I remember when I got back into collecting, I got really into DC during the DC New 52, and I remember Justice League 12, and there was news on it on CNN because Wonder Woman and Superman were falling in love, and the cover was Wonder Woman's lasso of truth wrapped all around Superman. And then as I go to the shop when we still had Lone Star Comics, the brick and mortar store, and I couldn't find it because there was a cover B of that cover when I had like Aquaman on it or something. I said, where's the Jim Lee at? I want the one with the Wonder Woman grabbing him with the lasso. And it was right behind there. So yeah, they've always done cover A and B. And of course they used to have a C cover that included the little, the code to download it on your iPad or tablet. But the newer ones, like you mentioned, you primarily are just getting all art. I mean, you get a little title at the very bottom and the number. But like you said, those Matina covers, like they're just stellar. And then a while back, they had a Matina cover that had the reverse flash on it and real just creeped me out and was scary as all get out. But beautiful artwork though. So I hope all of these can take, a little bit out of DC's idea and go with that, because I like Fantastic Four A through Z. Then they had AA, AB, AC, AD. It was like an Excel spreadsheet that was like never ending,
Yeah. So this is one of the B covers I showed her earlier. Just a great looking option between the two that you can get. And like I said, the LCS can order both or one or whatever they want. It doesn't cost them anything more or less, and they don't have to qualify for it. So I think it's just a great opportunity to get a great looking book. And it also gives another artist another shot to another chance to shine. So I enjoy that. And I think that there's a good balance that needs to be struck. Okay. And DC has figured it out. Marvel has gone the other way, and I'm a Marvel guy. Okay. Yep. I'm a big Marvel guy. You guys all know I 90% of the stuff I show and share is Marvel. Not that I have anything against the other stuff. That's just what's in my collection. I'm trying to branch out, and I've really been enjoying these DC B covers and stuff like that, and some of the older books and stuff. But when I was younger, I was really like Spider-Man. I liked Avengers and X-Men, and that was my thing. And now that kind of stuck with me when I jumped back in. So that's the majority of what I'm buying now. I have like the new 52 runs that are out, and I missed all those. So I've been trying to go back and buy those new 52s. I wasn't aware that there was variants on those, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mainly of those. I got the cover A's. If on the number one issues of the new 52, I would buy if it was one of the titles I was really into and it was some of my favorite characters. I would get both covers, just to have them. Same with all those Green Lanterns. I like to get both covers of at least issue number one. Yeah. And sometimes, like there was a Green Lantern number 25 from the Jeff Johns initial run that was first appearance of Atrocitus and Larfleeze, and cover B was done, I want to say by Ivan Rice or maybe Van Sciver, but it had John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, and Hal Jordan. I was like, well, this cover, it's awesome looking, and plus cover B, it's probably going to be worth more.
Yeah. Hey, we got another super chat in here from Economics and Comics. His live show is tonight at 7:00, exactly the same time as the Comic Core. So split screen all you want.
You know what I may do? I may keep it on the down low. Maybe have a couple of the iPod, the little Apple iPod earphones in, and then the big ones for Comic Core. So I do two shows at once.
Hey, I got two eyeballs, man. I can watch two things at once. So it all works. I got two computers going, so I can pull it off.
Now you're not making a video as we do this video, are you?
It was not this time.
Me and
That
Bueller,
was
I don't know. Me and Bueller watch wrestling from time to time, and WWE does these things called WWE 24s, and they're kind of like the documentary. And I think this moment between me and you being live on Comics with Bueller, we ought to make a documentary just about this first time, like just on Comics with Bueller with each other.
My camera is sitting right there. I mean, it's pointed right at me because I filmed something earlier today, but it's not turned on. But I want to we kind of covered DC. Like I said, I think they figured it out. I enjoy the options, and I enjoy the fact that they're 1-for-1. I keep saying that over and over. I think for the most part, the other publishers besides Marvel are pretty much 1-for-1. You know, for the most part, there are some exceptions, but I think like Dynamite and Valiant, they're all like they just put them all out there and then you can pick whichever ones you want. But like I said, most LCSs don't order multiple copies of some of these books, like Firefly, which is coming out, which is actually one of my favorite TV shows.
Oh yeah,
that thing's got like 10 covers, and I can guarantee
that was insane when I saw all of those on there.
Yeah, and that was, I can guarantee that your LCS maybe get 2 of the 10. They're not going to get 10 of those, so that's just the way it is. But I do want to say this, and I was curious about this, and somebody in the anyone in the chat knows the answer to this, because we're going to focus on the biggest problem. Who's in charge of this right now? That's the big Marvel, my favorite comic book company. Who's doing it?
Marvel. What are they doing to us?
But I have a question, and I was curious about this because I was looking at their market share, and like I said, it was like 39% of the market. They have the most. But I was thinking, does every title that they have count as one title? Like if they have 26 different variants of Uncanny X-Men, is that one book in as far as sales figures go, type thing? So I mean, obviously if they're putting out that many different variants, it's gonna make people buy more of that book.
Mm-hmm. God, you're exactly right. I never thought about it in that kind of perspective, but I think that's how they do things. So if they have 10 variants, they'll take the total sales of all of that stuff and just throw it into their big time sales of how much money that book made for them. But yeah, God.
Yeah, we're getting some comments in here that says one book. Yeah, I would say so. So I think that's what it is. And I was also looking at some sales figures, and like I had someone leave a comment. I can't remember who it was, but they said, yeah, the variance is what had an effect when the crash in the 90s. And I don't think that was. I don't think there was a lot of variance back then. I think in the 90s when it crashed, I think that was just a fact that they were just pumping out so much stuff. It's just boom, 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 and there was millions and millions of copies of books. I don't remember there be a tremendous amount of definitely foil covers. That was kind of a thing. They love doing the shiny covers, which I love the shiny covers. That's my thing. So
I like shiny embossed die cut covers. Loved it all.
I did too. I was the same way.
It's like when in the 90s we were like kids in the candy store. I gotta have everything.
Yeah. Bake the Snake says, I love Lamp. I love that quote. I just have to read that out loud. That caught my eye. I love Lamp. I know what that's from. That's funny. It's a quote. But anyway, I was also looking at like some sales figures, and here's all these variants coming out. And for the month of October, we're 9% above last year's October. So almost 10% higher sales figures. And we're getting all these variants coming out. So, I mean, the sales are there. People are buying them, and people are buying them. They're going to keep making them. And, I hear a lot of people say, oh, I don't like these variants and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, we got the legend here paying hundreds of dollars for a 1 in 1,000.
I'm keeping them in business. Anything, all that Fantastic Four. I got, we got like Marvel 2-in-1 variant. 2-in-1.
Look at this guy.
Art, who's that? That's Alex Ross, 2-in-1 variant, 2-in-1 variant. Art Adams, 2-in-1.
This is the yin and the yang right here. This is the yin and the yang right
there. You gotta have all these variants, Bueller, because they're going to be worth thousands and millions of dollars. I'm just kidding.
I don't have to worry about putting my kids through school anymore because they already graduated. So I don't know what I'm collecting for now.
And what's great about the collectors, for me, it's all about the Fantastic Four, the Shazam. Like I said, I'm not buying these to make money. I'm not gonna. I'm like you, and I love how when I watch your videos, you always say, you know, you're not buying these books to sell them or flip them or anything like that, and that's okay because I know a lot of great people in the community that do that as a business, and that's freaking awesome. You know, I don't have the time for it. I just love the stuff that I collect, and so that's the kind of stuff I buy. Me and Hans, we have our old buddy Hippies Collectibles. He always said, collect what you like and love what you collect. So whatever you spend that money on, you know, just smile and enjoy that book because that's what you spent your hard-earned money on, you know.
Do you know that I have an eBay store? I've never told anybody.
Yeah, I got one too.
Yeah, I've sold stuff. I haven't sold anything probably this year, to be honest with you. But I have sold stuff, and I've sold comics on there. Nothing big. I usually just sell a bunch. I would sell a bunch of cheaper, like a stack of books, you know, type thing, like a grab bag almost.
Maybe
But,
sell some Funkos, you know,
yeah,
like
I wouldn't sell any
Sesame
Funkos. But yeah, I have an eBay, and I've never told anybody what it is. But yeah, put it to you this way: it's got the Bueller, it's got Bueller in it. I'll tell you that much. Well, I thought about actually like putting together like a grab bag almost type of thing for like really cheap, because you know I get all these books for like 50 or 40 cents, and if I can put together like a little grab bag for like $10 and a couple dollars shipping, people might like that. But I haven't used my eBay account for like months and months, so that might be something.
Have you used it to buy anything?
I haven't. That's also I haven't bought. I did when I was selling stuff because I literally would get my money into PayPal and I'd never take it out. I just leave it in there and buy more stuff.
Well, I got to commend you. Good for you, because that's the best way. See, they keep sucking me back in. My buddy Hoot at Comics and Movies, he told me a long ago about these eBay bucks, and I made a video last night, and I spent the eBay bucks on these beautiful 6-gun deluxe hardcovers by Oni Press, Cullen Bunn, Brian Hurt. So check that out. But man, sometimes I get that little addiction going, you know, that buying addiction.
Well, I have
when I'm not buying an AC unit, you know.
I have a few people asking me what's my store. It's there's nothing on it right now. I don't think. I think maybe I have like a War Dancer on there from Valiant Comics, like a.
They're gonna hate me for this, but don't tell them, Bueller. Make a reveal video when you actually have stuff on the store, and make a reveal video, and that way it'll get them pumped for it.
That makes sense. Actually, that's not a bad idea because I'd like to put something. But I am a what do they call it when you're like a special seller?
Yeah, like a do you have the little star by your name or something?
Yeah, I'm like a preferred seller or something like that, or a top ranked seller. I don't know. I don't know.
So
anyway,
that's awesome.
Okay, let's get off my eBay. I don't want to talk about that. Eventually, I'll put some stuff on there, and who knows, people might want to buy some cool comics for really cheap. So, anyway, let's jump into Marvel. Okay, and this is the one that set me off, and I'll just kind of run down. Okay, so I'm putting together my list, and I get to Avengers number 10, which is supposedly Avengers number 700, and I don't know, there's like 15 covers for that one. Okay. Yep. Then I keep rolling, and another book comes up and there's 8 covers, you know. Cosmic Ghost Rider, the last one, has 7 covers, you know. And then I keep going, and I know X-Men's coming up, and I'm like, okay, X-Men's the last one. I get the X-Men, and I have to scroll through 2 pages of covers to get all the images for this. And it's just like, and then I look and I see it's a $7.99 cover price.
That's
okay.
I can't even say anything. It just sucks.
What do you, as consumers, as we all are here, what do we have to do to say, hey, you know, this isn't cool? Because I don't think it's cool. I don't think taking advantage of making 8 covers or 7 covers of Cosmic Ghost Rider number 5 is cool. I don't think making 30 or 40 covers of X-Men, you know, number 1 is cool. You know, it's a money grab. And, you know, the Diamond is a distributor. Okay. And they've been the distributor for, you know, as long as I can remember. And as far as I know, they're the only one, and they've kind of had a monopoly on it. And they have their hand in the cookie jar when it comes to doing these variants. Now, I don't know if Diamond sets the price on variants, type thing. Cause like you said, you had a variant and you paid a couple $100 for it. I'm pretty sure that Diamond is just selling these books at cover price, but you have to buy a certain amount of the books to buy that book if you're a retailer. It's not
Yeah.
like it's like, yeah, this book will cost you $20. Am I right on the money of that? Diamond doesn't like up the price to the retailer, but they
Yeah.
do ask them to buy a certain amount of quantities
A
to get
certain
that one.
amount. Yeah, they had to buy like 1,000 Marvel 2-in-1 of the regular just to get that one. And then, of course, that dealer put it on eBay and no one bought it because he was trying to charge $1,000. So months and months and months go by. Then they start dropping the prices down on some of those high ratio variants. So if you're a consumer and you see a variant in the previews magazine that you like and you really want to get, try to see if you can have the willpower to say no at the time, and try to wait it out and get it when it's a little bit cheaper, because otherwise it'll just drive you mad, trying to collect all those Fantastic Four things. And I was going to say something kind of for you. So you start making your video and you're showing off your books that are coming out. So Avengers, the letter A. So right then, first letter of the alphabet, he's got tons of these. And then just when you think you're all done with Marvel, the X-Men get you for like 50 variants.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I was just like, and like I said, I was up till 6 a.m. putting that video together, and mainly because I was actually hanging out with Sam on that day, and we were comic hunting for most of the day, and we had a great time. But I procrastinated and put that video out. But we got another super chat from James Hardy, and he said, "How about shirts that say 'Don't mess with the best'?"
Now that would be good. That would be really cool.
That would be really good, man. I wouldn't mind that at all. People, I think I've said this, but I only put the vest on because I thought I did a video one time and it was my very first comics and coffee video. And I sat there and I was shooting it and I looked into the thing and man, I look fat. And I was like, I need something to maybe slim me down. So I was like, I'll put this vest on because it's black and black is supposed to be slimming. So I put it on and go, oh, I don't look as fat. So that's where it came from. I just started wearing the vest after that. And it's kind of came. And then, of course, the backwards hat's kind of my trademark or whatnot. So, it's the simple things that kind of go a long way. And that's where that came from.
And if you can, he's giving you some economics in the chat right now. Economics and Comics says, buy some vests, get them cheap maybe, and then start selling those with maybe a logo on them or something.
That'd be cool. This vest I have here was actually a gift from one of my renters, like not too long or like last year. So I never wore it, and I was like, oh, I'll put it on and wear it, and sure enough, it stuck. So now I wear it almost every time. But back to Marvel. So I honestly don't know what to say. I sit there and I look and I go, it's out of control. They're not going to stop anytime soon. They own they own a majority of the market. Their product is everywhere. Their Marvel universe, the movies, the clothing, the toys, it's everywhere. Do you see them saying, well, maybe we should cut back? Or do you see, the next big title coming out with, 80 variants? I mean, do you see anything fading? Because I don't. I think they're going to do it until the horse is dead, to be honest with you.
I think they are too. And they've got the big Disney machine behind them. So they've got unlimited resources pretty much. And the great thing, it's a great thing, but it really I don't know. It's kind of like, if you think about it in certain ways, they're doing their job. They're making a ton of money at our expense. And, they're doing the old classic, legend has the legend's truth about the mind control. And it's like anything else. You go up to the supermarket, you see the gum or you see the little funny things at the register, like the Pez dispensers. And then, you'll want to pick them up. So they just keep feeding and showing all the stuff. You hear about it on the websites. Heck, we talk about it a lot too. But and then it entices the folks to go out and purchase this stuff, especially if it has their favorite characters on there. Who wouldn't want well, they haven't done a Fantastic Four Pez dispenser set, or at least I don't think they have. I need to look for that. But yeah, people will just eat that stuff up.
You know, I'm looking at what's one of the things nice having you on here is it gives me a chance to look at some of the comments as you're doing your thing. And I saw a couple on here, and it's from Joseph Damas. Is if you have a solid cover from a AAA artist, is that a bad thing? What's your thoughts on that? Because I think you know what. I mean, there's been issues where I've bought more than just the main cover, you know, and if they both look good, it's just, I think it's just the amount of how many they do is the problem. I don't think it's not the quality or anything, you know, as you know, if it's so many, that's where I have a problem. I mean, if they did 3 covers and they're all quality covers, I'd probably buy all 3. But if they did 30 covers and they're all quality covers, I can't afford to buy all 30 covers. That's just the way it is.
And it's kind of like that JLA that came out with the flags. I mean, I don't know if anyone, I pity them fool like Mr. T if they bought all them flags or something like that, or if they intended to you know, say, well, these are going to be worth a lot of money. Like, I think it just comes down to the research, the knowledge, kind of knowing, you know, don't let the big people, the stores, and not so much the stores, but the Marvel, don't let them take too much of advantage of you. But yeah, if you see like a cover that has your favorite artist, or maybe there's a really cool Thor cover and you're really a huge fan of Thor, or if there is a Green Lantern cover that has like Larfleeze, he's kind of my favorite Lantern villain. Yeah, especially if it's a great artist, I'll pick it up. But I understand what you're saying in chat. What Bueller's trying to say is, when you look at the preview magazine, when you look at the stuff coming out and you see all of those covers, you kind of think to yourself, golly, I can see what Marvel's doing here, but I just want, you know, you don't want your viewers to fall into those traps, you know, because what I love about your channel and some of the things that I miss, and I don't see a lot of it, but I'm seeing a lot more of it now, but you really are good for the newer comic user, because you're letting them know some information that they're just getting into comics, so they're finding out a lot about this stuff for the first time. And people like me, I may you know just blow it off. But what I love about your channel is you're really inspiring and helping these new comic book collectors make some great choices in their beginnings of a comic book collector and in their introduction into the hobby.
There's another great comment in here by Bob Johnson. He says, first appearances, should you buy A or B cover? I think that's a good question. You know, I never really thought about it. I think that if you're buying it for like an investment, okay, or like to flip it, I think if it's an A or B cover, if there is like if it's a 1-for-1, I don't think it probably matters too much. But if it is a incentive variant, like a 1 in 5 or whatever, you know, and you're available to get that B cover, I would say get that one. But if it's that 1 in 1,000 cover that Legend has, that guy's on a different planet.
Yeah, and you know, the crazy thing about it is, for one of those covers, and you know it's going to be a first appearance of a book, I had a character that I just took a gamble on, about cover A, about cover B. It was called New Superman, and it was the Chinese Superman, Kong Kenan, or Kenan Kong, however you want to say it. But I read that story, I love the artwork, and I ended up buying like a couple more cover A's and a couple more cover B's because I really liked the character. But for a brand new first appearance, I really doubt they would do like a 1 in 1,000 on a first appearance. What if the first appearance character is like a crummy character? You know, someone may not like him, and then they just like blew it. You know.
So we got another super chat from Robert Galvin himself, and he's got a great question. I saw this one earlier. I didn't get to it. He said, Bueller, buddy, do you have the Domino cover with Morbius on the cover? Very true, Legend. Awesome show tonight. So the next week's Domino has Morbius on the cover, and I think that's standalone. I don't think there's a variant, and that cover looks awesome. I don't know if you've seen it, Legend, but that cover, as far as just cover artwork, and I like it even more that it's a standalone. There's no variants as far as I'm aware. But I'm not a big Domino guy. I think I got the first 1 or 2, but I'm definitely going to pick up that one just because, I'm a visual guy and I like good artwork, and that has it on there. So if you guys haven't seen that new Domino that's coming out next week, you might want to pick that up, because I'm pretty sure that one's probably not a huge a big time seller. It's not one of their main properties or whatnot. So there won't be that many of those available. So I don't know if you saw that one. Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen it. Are they going to have like a Morbius month where all the covers are going to have a Morbius backup cover, or is it just that one title, Domino?
It's got Domino on the front, like Morbius is like behind her, and he's trying to like bite her neck or something like that. And I might be wrong.
That ought to be pretty cool, especially if they can tie Morbius into that story, and that might bring wake up the Morbius fans into buying Domino. So it could be a good ploy for Marvel to get some interest in Domino, especially with the talks of there being a Morbius movie possibly.
So there's two things in here. Justin Scheller says Domino sucks now, and then Nova Blast says Domino has been decent so far. So I love different opinions. Everybody shares them. I think it's great. I appreciate that. But I want to get into another part, and that was kind of the effect that variants have on comic book shops. And that's where it hits me probably the most, because I'm a big fan of the local comic book shop, the local business owner and stuff like that. And all the hoops that they make these comic shops jump through to get these covers. And this is on Marvel. This is what Marvel has done. And like I said, Diamond has their hand in this as well. They tell these comic shops you have to buy 20 copies of this book to get one of these, or you have to buy 50 copies of this to qualify to buy these. And then they say you have to buy, or you have to sell through 100% of Avengers 3 in order to get the variant for Fantastic Four #5 type thing, which doesn't make any sense to me. That's like one of those math equations that nobody can figure out type thing. That really affects those small comic shops that are just trying to enjoy the hobby. Because like I said this many times, local comic shops don't go into it thinking they're going to be millionaires. They do it because they have a love of the hobby. They enjoy comics, and that's why they're there. I have a huge problem with what they make those guys do, because they're stuck holding the bag, and Diamond gets their money. Marvel gets their money. They don't get the money from us. Yeah. They get the money from the comic book shop. They're the ones buying the books, and then they're stuck with 20 issues of Exiles because they wanted to get that one variant. If you get 20, what's your thoughts on that?
I think I totally agree with you. It's really sad, and that's what puts a lot of these, and that is one of the factors that puts a lot of the small mom and pop comic stores out of business. That, and including the fact that people may not be picking up books from their pull list anyways. Yep. And on top of that, where they're kind of have to get all these books to get these Marvel variants and things like that. It's just really messed up how they do it. But it's kind of like the mom and pop stores. They just have their hands tied with it. Now, unless they decide to say, okay, well, no matter what, we're just going to have to say order the amount that our pull list of the people that have pulls wanted us to get, plus just a little bit to put on the stands, but that's kind of one of those things where they have to just know when to say no,
Yep. We have Michael Porson says, what does an LCS pay for a title? 50%. So it varies by publisher from what I understand. Some publishers give a higher discount, and it also is varied on how many you order. I believe pretty much standard is around 50%, but I know some shops can get a better deal depending on what they are. And I think Image gives a better deal as well. At least they do here in the Portland area and stuff, and Dark Horse as well, because they're located here. So they give a little bit better deal. And then they also, some books are returnable, which is, they can do that as well. Not all of them. It's very rare that comes up. But a great example was the Batman #50 with the wedding that never happened or whatnot. I don't even know what's going on there. But that was a book that wasn't returnable at the beginning, because all these shops ordered all these books and all these variants, and that turned around to be nothing, because it didn't really take place. And then DC had to change their mind and say, yeah, you can go ahead and send them back, because they kind of pushed this and pushed all these variants and nothing came of it. So
that Batman 50, it's like, when the shops think they know the answers, the company is changing the questions.
That's right. But I think, this is a topic that can be talked about for days. I mean, this is not, I mean, unfortunately, we're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes, but this topic, honestly, we'll be talking about this for the rest of our comic book community life, to be honest with you, because it's
right.
every week there's another one and another one.
There's another hot title that's going to give us 10 to 50 variants out there.
I don't think it's going to change. I don't think there's much we can do about it. You know, like I said, I don't think the bubble is going to burst in the comic book market just because we are much more well educated, and there's the print runs aren't like they were back in the 90s in the millions. They're only in the hundreds of thousands right now. So it's a different market type thing. So I don't think the bubble is going to burst, but just I could see where it turns people off. It definitely has like me, like, come on, just give me one or two, and
yeah,
I don't know who you talk to say, hey, knock it off. And then this is another thing, and I want to throw this out there real quick. Marvel is, God, I love Marvel. I hate talking bad about them, but like they do variants for like the special new series coming out. Okay. Like Uncanny X-Men is hitting next week. So they make a variant copy of Fantastic Four #4, and it's the X-Men team on the cover.
I know.
What is that? Well, like, there's not a single Fantastic Four member on the cover. It's just the team from X-Men. And they did that for like almost every one of their books. And they did the same thing when Fantastic Four came out. You'd go and you'd buy a copy of Punisher, and here's a Punisher variant with the Fantastic Four on it, and Punisher's nowhere to be seen.
I skipped out on all of those. And I had these old FFs, the Future Foundation. After issue 5, I think it was 587 when Johnny Storm died. Of course, he came back, but they had the 12 issues of the Future Foundation that were one of those. I think it was issue 7. It was Wolverine month. So one of my FF variants is nothing but just like an homage to Wolverine and his different Wolverine costumes. Oh, it's insane.
It's crazy, man. I don't know. I mean, I think I saw one book and I was like, oh, this is a Fantastic Four book, and then my LCS owner goes, no, that's not Fantastic Four. I go, what do you mean? And he said, what did he say it was? I think he said, oh, it's Champions. He goes, no, that's Champions or something like that. I was like, oh, really? But what are you gonna do? But we're gonna wrap it up. But before we do, I gotta announce the winners from last week's thing. I have them written down here. So I had a couple giveaways on last week's live stream, and some really cool books. And then so we have 2 different giveaways from last week. One from Tom's channel, Comic Tom 101. Make sure you check out his channel if you don't already. I'm pretty sure everybody does. It's a great channel. And then I had one winner from my video as well. So the one from Tom's channel, the winner is Collectible Paper is the profile name, I believe, Collectible Paper. And I'll put the winners in the description down below after this video is done being uploaded. And the winner from my channel was Stoned Heroes. And that's pretty funny because when he was the winner, I went and looked at his YouTube channel, and there's just a bunch of weed. It sounds like a great guy or whatnot, but anyway,
I got to sub him up.
So like I said, from Tom's channel, Collectible Paper is the profile. You are the winner of the giveaway from last week. And the second winner for the giveaway last week is Stoned Heroes. So those 2 people, all you gotta do, I leave my email address in the description down below, and you just email me with your information and I'll send those out to you. And honestly, I feel bad because I have a few giveaways I haven't mailed out yet because I got sick last week and I was just under the weather, and I still had to mail out a couple giveaways, but they're actually sitting right behind me. They're not going anywhere. So I'll make sure to get those out hopefully by Monday, and I'll get them all out and going. But those are the winners. So congratulations to those winners. Let's kind of wrap it up because, of course, we got the Comic Core coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. And but I want to give you the floor a little bit and remind, we're still at over 100 viewers. We had 115. I think at one time we had over 130. But kind of remind everybody of yourself, Great Legend. Let them know what you're about. Let them know when they can catch you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so people over at my channel, Great Legend Show, I show comic books, hauls. I'm going to start doing some more reviews, and I'm also going to be doing some reviews and some solo projects on Comicore. That's COOMIC space CORPS, and watch us live tonight. And that's a fun show. I do that every Friday night with those guys and gals. Yes, we got the ladies over there, so very cool. But yeah, we have a lot of fun on my channel. If you're into video games, I play some video games from time to time. I do game streaming. I haven't done any cooking lately, but I enjoy talking comics, and I enjoy talking truth topics, and just inspiring people to be better and more positive, and just to enjoy life. And just anytime you need someone to talk to or whatnot, drop me a line, and I'll chat it up with you and have a good time. And sometimes the Great Legend also has some good rhymes, so. And I want to give a big shout out again to everyone in the chat tonight. I can't even read all these names, Bueller. Oh my goodness, you got parties every Friday night here. But I just want to say, Bueller, again, thank you so much. And like I said earlier, when I was inspired by watching folks like Howler Mouse, Hippies Collectibles, and Captain Strangelove, and then I get inspired all over again watching you. And I really want to thank you for being a positive light for this community, because you're bringing something special to the community and bringing something new, and a lot of people can learn everything from your channel. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. And we got another super chat from Comic Spectre. Said, great community here. I couldn't agree more. And he said the Great Legend as well. And
Comic Spectre, he's a great guy.
He is. And you know what? I always forget to do this. And Tom actually told me to do this. He goes, you should tell people to hit that like button. I always forget to do it. I actually wrote it down this week and I still forgot to do it. But then I saw a chat in here by James Hardy says, hit like button.
Fans, here's what you need to do. You need to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to let you know when Comics with Bueller is coming at you live.
That's right. I appreciate that. You know what? It was an honor to have you on here. I do appreciate it. I was so happy. I know it was last minute. I kind of contacted you, and I was just happy that you said yes. I want to say thanks to everybody in the chat. This has been great. Like I said, this conversation is going to go on for years and years to come. And you know what? We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. I think we might be like 4 or 5 away from hitting 3,000. And for all I know, we might be at 3,000 right now because I haven't checked since we've been on this live stream. So next week we'll kind of we'll be at 3,000 next week for sure, and we'll kind of have a little celebration, I think, or something like that.
Birthday party.
That's right. But and then I've also been thinking about doing a second live stream. I haven't figured out the date yet. I think it'd be kind of cool. I always like talking to everybody, and I think maybe like a Q&A type thing to where I could focus more on the chat. I think that would be kind of nice so I can interact with a lot of people and stuff. But anyway, I want to say thank you so much to everybody in the chat and everybody who did the super chat. Also, I appreciate it. We have our Comic Core starts in about 10 minutes. And also Economics and Comics. He has a show also at 7 o'clock. So check him out as well. Do the split screen thing. We can all do it, right? It's easy.
I do it all the time. Sometimes I have multiple live shows going at once.
That's right.
I'm like Rick Rude. I'll be on Raw and at the same time.
Come on, a Rick Rude reference at the end. Come on. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I got another video coming out this weekend, and then I'll be back on Monday with some coffee. All right. I want to say thanks. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You guys know what to do. We will see you next time. Bye.